Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
Like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. And big ups to the fam. Welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's popping? Big ups to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being in the live. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Monday, man. Listen, this is a couple of days before the end of the year. Listen. The Saints haven't exactly went. This season haven't gone according to how our highest expectations have been. But in the end, the bottom line is the black and gold. They have some work to do. Lucy, we have some work to do, and they got a lot of work to do. Black and gold has a lot of work to do. But anyway, this one here, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the live. This one's called Saints Need Big Dose of Reality After Another Dismal Loss. Losing to a 3-win team is a very difficult thing to do, but the Saints figured out a way to do it. Very interesting, man. But anyway, man, they did lose yesterday, as you guys well aware, 25-10. I looked at the film. We'll go over it on Patreon tomorrow. And the reality is that it was some stuff on there, but you know, it, you know how we said last week, burn the film. I don't know if this is a burn the film moment because the trick play was creative, but when you have to kind of use trick plays to kind of spark your offense and you got one, but then you have to basically go back to trying to do something to get it together, and the Saints just and not because they couldn't do it, it's just the fact that they kept getting in their own way. They kept getting in their own way, and that was the biggest point of what I seen looking at the film, was they just made a lot of errors. Every time is one step forward, 2 step back type of thing. And then at the end of it, all the excuses came. And you have to have a leader that is not a guy that's going to come in and excuse make. We cannot have that. People have to look at it and say for what it is. If you're a part of the failure, you can't be propping up guys that's failing, that's not doing their job. You have to come on out with it. That's the only way we're gonna get better. And like I said, I've seen a lot of stuff on the film. Um, we're gonna go over with Rizzi because this name, we had the Rizzi thumbnail, which is I told you guys about the look he usually makes. This is the look. Y'all put one in the chat if you've seen him make this look a lot. This is the dumb look I often talk about when him making when he about to tell you some BS. He'll make that stupid face where he cups his jaws. That's what I was talking about. I was like, I gotta find that picture and do a screenshot of that. And the last two games, like studying the film over the last two games, trying to figure out, right? You got an idea after all of this time. And listen, we're not at weeks 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. You're in week 17. So many vestiges of whatever you was trying to do offensively, defensively, and special team are well there, right? And I've said this, and I want to see if you guys agree with me on this, is that if you are a coach or head coach of the team and only the players at the starting level know the game plan well enough, you're in trouble, man. That's not how it's supposed to go. Now, there'll be a difference in talent, but it shouldn't be execution. I said that on the broadcast yesterday. And how do we know this? Because we've seen other teams also deal with injuries, and they do not allow that to happen to them. So I'm kind of looking at what's going on across the league for successful teams. I'm not even talking about elite level teams. I'm just talking about teams that are successful, that are dealing with the same stuff we dealing with, which is injuries. They dealing with the same stuff we dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Their teams are banged up. I think the Raiders had like 17 guys that was out due to injury. What was their excuse? They still came in here and beat the Saints in their building 25-10. See, that is not exclusive to what we got going on. We can't. And that's why I was said the injuries thing is a big excuse. It's the biggest excuse these professional teams make to justify failure. Another thing is, when we have head coaches or guys that are supposed to be leaders also placating the failure, which is also something that can't happen. We got to have leaders or guys that's running the team that has to tell it down the line. I don't care what feelings it hurt. I don't care if it hurt any of their feelings, to be honest with you. I'm gonna just be honest with you because you get paid to play and nobody's paying you to fail. That's number one. Number two, you're supposed to give a maximum effort. Maximum effort. I did not see max effort in these games. I'm just speaking over the last two games, just to keep it there. Because if you go over the entirety of what we've seen so far, you've seen in a lot of the games, the Saints in some form of fashion just wasn't given the max effort. The players not being prepared to play. We heard Demario Davis. I was very critical of that, and I wasn't really that hard on Demario Davis. I actually like Demario, but I can't have you making no excuses, bro. Because number one, I don't respect the fact that you have nothing to say when the Saints are losing, but hold on to the rope, and then when the rope is obviously done snapped, continue to hold on to the rope. We're not holding on to no loser, bro. That's loser speak, man. And that don't have nothing to do with what we talking about here. You need accountability. Accountability cleans up everything. That makes sure everybody is doing what they're supposed to be doing. And shout out to my family members that's listening via X, and the family members that Sean and that a few of the family members out there that were they clipped streams, and I have people that clip the show when they want to make a point about something, because like I said, you're not going to find a lot of people that's telling it right down the line. I'm telling you, fam. That's why the Sports Coma was created all the many moons ago, because I got tired of listening to the radio and them spinning excuses for why the team was failing, and the fact that the radio is also clicked in with the team. So they're going to make for the team to keep the money wheel turning. And I got tired of that. So I just wanted to disrupt the narrative and tell it right down the line from our perspective, and not that to shield the team so that they can both keep making money and hide our narratives or our ideas of what we see here. And a lot of what we see here is based on strictly the fact that we are talking about success. There are many different templates across the professional football world. that you can look at and do just a comparative analysis about what's going on there and how they're able to succeed there versus here. You can do a comparative analysis. It's very simple. And you will find out what I see. And I tell it straight down the line. I don't care about offending your feelings, because if you're failing, you deserve to be offended because you're offending me. So you're getting what you're giving. That's number one. Check. So I don't care about feelings here, because you're getting paid to play. If you stink, you still get paid, right? There's not been any issuance of apologies from none of the Saints, the players or coaches or administrators, of how bad this team's been over the last 4 years. Never that. It's never been that. There has been an apology from the former coach to your hated rival. Only time that ever happened, but you don't get one. We can do you or any kind of way we want to do you, and you'll be back for more. Because a lot of us, unfortunately, are involved in abusive relationships. We don't know and that's not all of us, but a lot of people think that that's life. That is not life, man. That's not life. You don't have to take no disrespect from any level, and I'm strictly about that. But when we looked at the Saints exclusively, I was able to look at the Saints, and I've been looking at the Saints for a while. And what I know, the biggest thing, the reality check that I see that the Black and Gold Nation has is it's a severe, family, and I mean a severe lack of accountability. Shout out to the family members that's posting them links on X. Keep it going. I appreciate you guys for doing that, because this has to get out, man. Because if we can't disrupt the narrative that they're setting up or have set up, then this cycle will continue. We have to destroy and disrupt the narrative and break the cycle so we can get the success that we want from the team. Both teams, where the Saints and the Pelicans, both going through the same dysfunction, because they got this narrative, and the narrative is put together where they just keep doing whatever and then no, enough is enough. No. Because you might have what you have, or they have what they got going on, but at the end of the day, it's all wrapped around you, selling it to you. So I often caution the family members, this is not a mark on your realness or your love or your, whatchamacallit, for the Black and Gold, your loyalty to the Black and Gold. But you have to also remember that is a two-way street. That is a two-way street. You don't be loyal to people that's not loyal to you. You don't be faithful or truthful to people that's not being faithful or truthful to you. You get what I'm getting at? You only give that good energy if you're getting it back. If it becomes a one-way streak, you break it off, because that's a violation. It has to be a two-way street that's balanced. It has to be coming in and going out. And if it's not coming in and going out, it becomes a one-way street. I would definitely start looking at fixing that or making a change to it. But that's the talking point that they have out there. So anytime I see when Demario Davis got up at that press conference and was talking all this stuff about this, that, and the third, and listen, fam, faith is one thing, and you can use faith in many different ways, but also at times I've seen people become severely delusional. That's why I was talking about a reality check insofar as the results. Let's keep the facts in front of us. The facts of the matter is that the Saints are a 5-win team. They went from where they were 3 years ago when they sold it to us to going backwards. Now the measurement of what they're going to do when they roll out after next week, when they come out with the end of the season press conference, Mickey Loomis will have to stand before you. And we'll have to then tell you why the team failed. And his number one thing he's going to reach to is the injury bug. Hell, we hear Coach Rizzi today on the press conference kept alluding to the injury bug. You can't do that. That's why we have a depth chart. You have to get these guys prepared. The second thing outside of accountability was these guys weren't prepared. They weren't prepared. Preparation. The Saints wasn't prepared against Green Bay. They had extended time to go up there, do what they got to do, and they looked like that with extended time. They got whooped on national television. They come home and lose in the dome to a 3-win team that was struggling offensively to get going, not against the Saints. Amir Abdullah put his first 100-yard rushing campaign on the Saints. That man been in the league for almost 10 years. He put up over 100 yards for the first time against the Saints. So in the end, like I'm saying, man, the reality check is we don't need placation. We don't need to placate losing ass players. A lot of what we seen here as a is a strong indictment on what's going on, especially at the top. When I was talking about Dennis Lauscher, and a lot of people starting to talk about Dennis Lauscher, and I appreciate the family members boosting signal, boosting the message, and getting it out there that this guy is not qualified, in the words of Mickey Loomis, to be a president of football operations. I think he's a good businessman. Yes, he is. But in terms of him being the guy to oversee Mickey Loomis, that's wrong. That if he's Mickey's boss, he has to know at least half or a fraction or a percentage of what Mickey knows, so he can check him and keep him accountability, keep him in the vest or in the mindset of accountability, so he can be accountable. The mere fact that Dennis Lauscher doesn't know the football stuff, he can't keep Loomis accountable, and that's a violation, because if you don't have accountability at the highest levels, it'll filter down throughout the team, and then you'll have anarchy, you'll have failure, and you have what you have now. It's not exclusively injuries that why the team is failing. The team is failing because they keep using injuries as an excuse. They don't prepare these players correctly. They really don't. Then I heard Rizzi talking about, they stop the rules. Well, we got to have a certain amount of padded practice. So what's the excuse from some of these other teams that's still doing? Y'all play under the same rules, right? Same rules league-wide, right? Or, league-wide, right? Why these other teams? They playing under the same rules and having success. What's your problem? You get me? So, like I said, we don't talk about the elite teams of the league. I'm talking about the successful teams. Half the league, half the teams right now, they got a lot of successful teams that's competing for playoff spots. Some teams have wrapped up playoff spots. They played good football all year. They had some injuries. They had a lot of injuries. They were able to move around the injuries, still have success, and set themselves up for an opportunity to play in the postseason. What's your excuse? You get that? So at the end of the day, man, that's the dose of reality the Saints need. So the Dennis Lauscher thing is all about accountability. That's what it's about. The message is, let's not get lost in the message. The message is it's accountability. How could he check or keep Mickey Loomis accountable if he doesn't know the football stuff? He can't. That's how you have a guy running amok like Mickey Loomis is, and talking quite reckless and disrespectful to the Who Dat Nation, telling people they're not qualified. Telling the media that they're, that's lazy and unsophisticated. The lazy thing, the easy thing to do, the lazy thing to do. This type of rhetoric, this type of energy, this type of foolish employee elitist mindset that Mickey Loomis is bringing is totally disrespectful, especially for a guy that hadn't made the playoffs in 4 years. He can't handle the pressure. He's thin-skinned, can't stand up to tough questions, run from tough questions. That's not a leader. He's not a real general manager. Doesn't talk to any players. Don't know how to check his head coaches to make sure they do what they're supposed to do. He let Dennis Allen literally collapse. And then when I didn't discipline him when he did bad stuff, just an idiot. So at some point, everybody's letting them know that, hey, man, this is wrong and it won't be tolerated. This is a story, too, if y'all guys haven't seen this one. Check this one out. This was posters that were hung around the Superdome. How about this one? This was hung all around the Superdome, man. Y'all seen this stuff? Put one in the chat if y'all seen this, man. It says, wanted, Mickey Loomis, Saints general manager. Hold on now. Hold on. Why am I on a wanted poster? Oh my God. I got to get my sharpshooters. All right. Oh, yeah, I'm wanted. I'm a wanted man. Oh God. Yeah, Mickey Loomis, you're wanted. And this is what it says on there is hired Dennis Allen. That's a good one. I salute whoever made this, man. And the people that put it up, salute to you, man. They probably members of the Great Saint Think Tank. Didn't fire Dennis Allen last year. Yes, that'll definitely make you want it. Annual salary cap issues. 60 million in the hole. You were 80 million in the hole the previous year and $100 million in the hole. That's Mickey Loomis. right? And then the other one said he let Sean Payton retire. Now listen, he like, well, what is you supposed to do about Sean Payton? The reality is this was poor because had the Saints drafted a quarterback, like they kept trying to trade for guys. I remember they tried to trade for Deshaun Watson. Good thing we didn't work that out. Lamar Jackson was also a person that was up there, and they chose Davenport over him. Let's just walk back for a second and think that if the Saints did draft Lamar Jackson, right? You think Sean Payton would have left? Come on now. Y'all, if the Saints draft Lamar Jackson, would he have left? What if Sean Payton, would he retire and left? He wouldn't have went nowhere. But that's what I'm saying. And this list alludes to it too. It says never draft the Drew Brees replacement, which was really crazy, right? Because like I said, the closest the Saints got to drafting a top 5 quarterback wasn't Mahomes. It wasn't Mahomes because they had the guy left, the guy got prior to them getting there. But they actually was on right on the number and could have marched it up there and told them make Lamar Jackson our guy. They said nope, and they took Marcus Davenport. And Marcus Davenport, I don't even think he in the league. And if he is, he probably hurt somewhere. So if he ain't in the league, he probably hurt somewhere, or both. So I mean, yeah, it's super silly, but no vision, no nothing at all. And then finally, chews gum during press conferences. They definitely a great Saint think tank, man. Shout out to y'all for putting this list together. Shout out to them people, man. Big ups to them. That was a good one. That was pretty damn good. I gotta be honest with you. But that's a big part of it. We have to be able to kind of change it up. We got to do a little something different. And listen, it's no need for a lot of the loyal great Saint think tank, the Who Dat Nation, to lower your heads and be sad about this, because like we talked about before the season started, these decisions did not hammer out or work out, then it'll bring a massive change to the Saints organization that is long overdue. That a lot of the mediocre success that we were having was keeping festering. But now that the bottom has fallen out, then we can be about the business of leading the team or fixing the team in the correct way, where the parties involved don't have the same leverage they had if the situation was in reverse, right? So a lot of what we've seen, like I said, man, we seen during this year and leading into this year, it's just not what it is. We need totally something else. We tried their way. It was a massive failure. Massive failure. So like I said, these things are seen. They're not blind to it. And the people that need to see, like the poster we seen, the comments, us calling up there to the Saints facility, us sending the emails and all that stuff, and just inundating them with all of the problems. And they know Mickey Loomis is a problem. They understand that he's been there for a period of time. And you shake his hand and say, thanks for your service. And then you begin of adding new people to the top of the team. That's what Gail has to do. She has to then, because she's operating a team like from where her dead husband said, here you go. No, that dead man can't run a live entity. Now it's your team. You have to be able to then be about the business of taking what you have and moving it in the direction that you need to move it in. And you have to find the right people so that you can be able to do that. But she understands when it looks bad. She comes down, makes the firings, but at the same time, changes have to be made. Dennis Lauscher is a good businessman. He's a terrible president of football operation. He needs whoever the football president is has to know about football on the field, or at least half of it. He has to be involved in the football stuff. He has to know it to keep the guy beneath him accountable, so that he knows that guy is on code doing what he's supposed to do. If you don't know what that guy is doing, that guy going to get a big head. Like I told y'all, none of these guys behaved this way when Tom Benson was there. They were all trained SEALs, but the moment he closed his eyes and left the team, they all got big heads, including Mickey Loomis. He the worst of the bunch. He the worst one. So in the end, chewing gum and being, you think Tom Benson would have slapped the piss out of Mickey Loomis. He come out of that press conference chewing that gum like that. He would have berated them and chastised them for that. Because one of Tom Benson's biggest things was he was big on customer service. He didn't play that. That's how he built his businesses into what they were. He was a shrewd businessman, but people loved him because they gave him a good deal. And he was real serious about taking care of the customer and making sure they had top-notch service. You would slap the piss out of Mickey Loomis to hear him chewing that gum like that and talking to people like that. That's totally unprofessional. So anyway, that's a little bit on that. So I just wanted to kind of talk on that about the thought process about what was happening with the team coming forward. Like I said, man, what about Darren Rizzi, man? I can appreciate what Rizzi's trying to do, but he just doesn't have it. He just don't have it. Now he got a big mouth and he likes to open his mouth and he jumps up and down. He's very animated, but you got to have some intelligence with that too. Hey, listen, man. I'm just keeping it real, man. Listen, I'm not saying Rizzi. I think Rizzi half crazy, but at the end of the day, he's a good special teams coach. He's not ready to be a head coach, and not everybody is. You got to have a certain specific God-given set of abilities that be able to lead humans. You got to know how to reach everybody, and I think he's too much of a placater. It's too much placating. You can't have two really obviously bad games from the Saints, the Packers game, and this game, and then come out in the press conference and say that how the thumbnail goes. I forgot what he said. Let me put my thumbnail up there. So yeah, and I had to put it in the bubble. I didn't see any lack of effort. Really? You getting blown out by the Packers on Monday night, and they lost 2 games within a week's time, right? Losing to the Packers, getting blown out by the Packers, getting blown out by the Packers. That's definitely a lack of effort, sir. And then getting beat by a 3-win team Raider club in your building. This is the home finale of the regular season. That's the last home game of the 2024 regular season. And you want to give a win to the support base that you have been losing for the entire year. You've been tearing it up all year. You want to at least give them a win to close out the year at home. And they lose to the Raiders. But he says, I didn't see a lack of effort. We just didn't execute. Well, what is effort to you? What does it mean? Because I'm confused. I'm totally confused about what you define as lack of effort. Now, in my book, I think not executing or failure to execute is a lack of effort, because failure would indicate the fact that you didn't do what you're supposed to do, which is lack. So I don't know what he's talking about, but he's too much of a placater to be the head coach of this team. We need somebody rough and rugged that can come here and just set everything straight, that has a pedigree or has a high IQ that knows what they're doing right out the gate. So maybe this is something that we talked about Mike Vrabel before. Adam Schefter said Vrabel's consulting agreement with the Browns expired today per league source, and that pretty much means that people can talk to him. They can talk to Mike Vrabel and go from there. So he can interview. So Vrabel, like I said, Vrabel's playing in the game. Mike Vrabel was a hell of a linebacker, man. You know, he was a hell of a linebacker with the New England Patriots. He has that pedigree, that winning championship mindset pedigree. He is kind of, and like I said, I'm not a big promoter of defensive coaches. I would like to have a coach that's on the offensive side of the ball, right? That's what I just instinctually want to have, a head coach that's an offensive minded person. But I'm not beyond the Saints going to interview Mike Vrabel and listen to him. He got a good resume as a player. His coaching wasn't all that bad. I mean, he actually was a pretty decent coach with Tennessee. But at the same time, like I said, him and Coach Glenn, you know, I like to listen to because these guys have been, you know, like, anytime you get players that were really good, that didn't cross over to football, they got that extra respect, like a D'Amico Ryans has. Like D'Amico played at a high level in Houston. I think he went to the 49ers too. And he played at a high level and was really good. And when he crossed over to football, it just was good. Vrabel has that pedigree, really good, solid championship player. Aaron Glenn might not, I don't think he have any championships, but I know he played for like 18 years or something like that, but he was a really respected player. I don't know if he has a championship. Matter of fact, I think he might have one. Y'all remind me in the chat if he got one, because 18 something odd years or whatever it was is a long time for Coach Glenn to be in NFL and not get one. I think he might have got one somewhere with all the teams he played with. I'm not for certain, but when you have guys like that, you got to go talk to them, because these guys are, they have a long history of success. So talk to them. But like I said, let's see if we can find their equivalents offensively speaking as well, right? And not just get bogged down in the mentality that we have to be able to connect to people we had that came from us and for the job, right? That'll be the guy that take over, such and such like that. We can't do that. Let's look all around and do what we need to do in terms of that. But also at the top, we have to make sure we get that straight before we start talking to these guys right here. You get what I'm saying? So it's a lot of movements that need to be happening with the Saints as well as the Pelicans. So we're going to see how it all goes, because it's smoke all the way around. It's not a happy place to be right now on Airline Drive for either one of these ball clubs, whether it's the Saints or the Pelicans. Both of these organizations are 5-win teams. The Pelicans are 5-27 or something like that, or whatever it is. The Saints are 5-10 or 5 and whatever the hell they are. I forgot. 5 and what are they? 5-11 now. So horrible. But in the end, change is necessary and change is definitely needed. And like I said, this is the time when we get the change that we needed. We need to clear out a lot of these old dusty mentalities that we have, and bring in people that have a respected pedigree that's connected to them, that gets that respect that players will listen to, as opposed to guys that are backstabbers, that are weasels, guys that are half a coach they don't know anything about. You see what I'm saying? I'd rather stay away from that, because we had enough of that already. And also we got to put accountability back in the Saints building. Even at the top levels, we got to have the accountability to rain down throughout the organization. If we don't have that, we're going to go right back to what we've been doing, which is failing. You cannot win without accountability, because that's what I see now. Guys are not being held accountable for not playing well. Guys are being told, hey, man, it's all right. It is not all right. And let me say this, fam. It's a disconnect between you, the 9 player, and the players. See, the players get paid. You see, that's a big difference there. That's why it don't hit them the same as it hits you. See, they get paid. You don't get paid to watch what you see what I'm saying? It's not the same thing. So you'll see a lot of these guys absorb the losses easily because they got an incentive. They get paid whether they win, lose, or draw. It's only the real good ones that get really pissed off about all of the losing and open it up their mouths. And sometimes it might cost them some money. But the ones that's about just taking the checks, you never hear them bat one word. And they always are for the establishment. You never see them step up against the establishment or say anything against the establishment, which would be the team. There's only a handful of guys that I know that stood up and was speaking the truth against the team. That was Elvin Kamara. That was Marshawn Lattimore, AK-41. They traded Lattimore to Washington. They didn't want to pay Kamara until later on in the season, when he, that he was you had to pay him because he was balling so hard, and you had to pay him. So when these guys tell the truth, they try to mess with their money, they stall their money, or they get traded. Even Cam Jordan, he was very neutral. He walked the fence, but he was speaking about the dysfunction of the team, but nobody else. Nobody else. Did you catch that? Now, even Bink Saunders was saying stuff online too. He didn't say it publicly, but he was saying stuff online. He was frustrated online. He was agreeing with the family members and saying, man, this is ridiculous. This is terrible. Da, 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 da. He was saying it online, but not people that you just recently see. And I ain't going to say no names. You could put the name to the face, or the word or the comment to the face of the people who are recently speaking that's trying to big up the team. These are establishment people. They never say anything to the contrary of the establishment. They never said anything. all they do is big up the establishment. All they do, despite all the wrong that they never utter one word against them. And you can put a name, you could put a face with what I just said, and you'll come out exactly who we talking about. But anyway, this is the thing, man. We're gonna go over it, and I know we got a few things here. Big ups to the fam for being here. All right, hold on, fam. Just give me just a second, man. All right, thank you, appreciate you. This is Muse. Shout out to Muse. Appreciate you, Queen, for the cash app. Much love to Muse. She says, all right, sending love. All right, shout out to you, appreciate you. Trinity Montoya, shout out to her, appreciate you.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, shout out to her, man. All right, and big ups to the fam, man. Appreciate y'all for being in the building as well. Much love. All right, yes, indeed. And we're gonna get into it. We're gonna hear a little bit from Coach Rizzi, man. I don't want to, you know, do the whole press conference, just a little bit of it, because and like I said, it's a tough job for him to have as an interim coach to step into it and put both feet into this mess and just feel like I'm just trying to keep guys happy, and that's his standpoint, and I get that to a degree. He's just trying to keep everybody cool with each other. And listen, I don't want to listen. That go out the window when we talk, because some of these guys are not supposed to be on the team. I've been saying it for all year long, family. I'm sorry. Some of these guys, they play football and it's their livelihood, but you can't play here and steal. If you see it, like if you work and the boss catch you stealing time, your ass is fired. If you stealing anything away from the job, you're going to get fired. They're going to roll you up out of here. We got players literally here that's just literally taking checks and they ain't giving nothing. And I'm like, why is these guys here? Why are they still here? But they didn't get rid of them. And I'm like, man, we cleared these guys out. That's what I would be on, especially when you're a losing team. Why I'm holding on to these losers for? It's a reason why. Listen, I don't want to sound difficult or hard, but I'm saying the NFL is a win now business, because people don't give money to a losing product. They don't. You can't sit up here and tell me about injuries when everybody in the NFL is going through injuries. You can't tell me that they're stagnating you when everybody in the NFL, they're losing their quarterbacks, their running backs, wide receivers, defensive people, kickers, punters. Everybody can get hurt, right? But they still maneuver around to still be successful, win games, and still put themselves on the course for the postseason. How are they able to do it and you can't do it? See, that's my question. Because you can do comparative analysis and say these teams are no better than the Saints. In many cases, you go in and watch that a lot of the Saints players are better than some of these other teams. So what's the difference here? What's going on here? That's why I'm saying that to get to the truth, you're going to hurt some feelings. Come on now, let's talk. Let's keep it real. You're going to hurt feelings when you won't get to the bottom of the truth, because a lot of people, they're not ready for the truth. Don't ask me for the truth if you're not ready for it, because I'll tell you. And the reality is, because the Saints, this is a team that, are they really ready for the truth? Are they really ready to do what is necessary to be a competing interest in this league, as opposed to be like the Dallas Cowboys, which Jerry Jones says too hard. And he didn't say this, but I'm looking at the actions of their team and I'm saying to myself, this guy's not even trying. You have Dak Prescott, but you don't give him a running back that's worth anything. You don't go and try to trade for somebody. You see what I'm saying? You don't do that. It's too hard for them. In their minds, too hard year after year to compete, to build up talent on the team. So I could just sell them this and still make money and sit back and rear back and pretend I'm mad. But at the end of the day, I'm still banking out, baby. We can't let them do that to us, because that's a form of cheat. We can't let her or this team do that to us. Like I told you, if you go down to the facility, and I go down there all the time, but if you go down to that facility and you look on the front of it, they got that old Super Bowl picture on the front of the practice facility. It's a old ass from the Super Bowl when the Saints won the Super Bowl a decade ago. It's up there on the front of the building. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's faded. And when you look at, I'm like, that's appropriate for what this team is doing, because all they doing is they got that Super Bowl trophy in there when you walk up in there, and they completely good with just one. They'll tell you whatever they gotta tell you, but they done made 3 to 4 to 5 times the fortune off of just that. Because they are not. This is not how you get there. This is not how you get there. You don't hire coaches that are unqualified, that have a history of losing. You don't bring them in and say he's going to be a winner for us now. You don't do that if you're serious. You're not serious. And for those who do, because sometimes people, listen, fam, it happens. These are humans. Sometimes people become delusional. Sometimes people feel like, now, you might have been somewhere or worked somewhere or went somewhere in your life and had an older person that was in wherever you worked or whatever the case may have been. I know y'all know of situations like this. If you yourself haven't been through that, you're like, why is this guy still here? And the guy is old, right? And he just hanging on in there. He ain't doing nothing. He just hanging on in there. He just hanging on in there. And you're like, why is this guy still here? What is he doing? And he don't do his job as well as he's supposed to do it. You know what I'm saying? It just happens. You know what I'm saying? It happens sometimes. And sometimes it's time for you to move on, because this is one of those leagues that things change really quick and really fast. And you have to be able to let people know, hey, man, listen, we like what you do over here, but we're going to put somebody else over here because the league is moving in this direction, and we want to keep up with younger people in the building, bringing a younger vision to revitalize the team, to keep us cutting edge, to keep us on Front Street, to keep us competitive, to keep us strong, to keep us mean and lean. And it happens. So at some point, you as a leader or whatever you are at the top of that organization, at sometimes it's got to look at those people and say, hey, man, are we moving in the right direction? Let's check it out. And then another thing is, you can't just hire people forever. What I mean by that is, you have a guy that's running that team, that's making these important decisions. They got to have a timeline. You can't let them do this, get up to this point, and then change it, and then do this and keep them screwing up. If they screwing up, they having bad draft picks, they doing all this craziness, they losing, you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. And that's why that guy thinks like that, because he ain't paid for nothing. He thinks he's supposed to do that until he falls off the earth and go to hell. I mean, go to heaven or wherever he goes. I'm going to heaven. I'm 7-Eleven, baby. I'm going up. Hold on now. You said something that's not real. Hold on. I'm going. I'm floating up high. I'm going. So, I mean, it's just what it is, man. You got to be able to check these guys and have a timeline and be able to hold them to what they say and what they do. And they have to come out and explain why this is not happening. And you cannot use injuries, because that is a staple that you're not supposed to do. You now explain to me why you failed without the injuries. They cannot do it. They cannot do it, because accountability does not live on Airline Drive, whether it's a football team or a basketball team. So whoever the leaders are that's coming in here, they got to be all about that. We're not going to be getting anywhere without accountability. And we're not going to allow you to make money off of us anymore. Not like that, because that's what they've been doing. They've been making money off of us with a half-ass product and making dumb decisions. And you've seen a lot of it come back to bear the last 4 years. There's no more making money off of us and putting up an inferior product. That won't hurt. That won't work anymore. That, and for the Pelicans, we're not going for that. It's too difficult in the climate to be giving money away to bad. It's just not going to work. All right. Thank you, Taylor. Shout out to you, my brother. Says Q, why is Demario and Juwan speaking to us like we are on an annual retreat for encouraging young boys to turn their life around? Because they've been sent out there to placate us. Yes, thank you, Taylor, for saying that, because this is what it is. And I like Demario Davis. I like Tyrann Mathieu. I like a lot of the Saints guys. But when it come down to telling the truth, it ain't got nothing to do with likes or dislikes. It's all about truth. The truth is you cannot tell the faithful who've been holding on and supporting the team 4 years to hold on and have faith, and we not going to panic. And I'm like, whoa, bro, what are you talking about? You got one game left. You've been eliminated. You've been eliminated for 2 weeks. We ain't gonna panic. What are you talking about, man? And where was this speech during the 7-game losing streak is a very easy question. But like I said, man, listen, talk to me. And I know you got your faith, but talk to me without that religious hat for a second, right? Use your spiritual intelligence and talk to me like that. Explain to me what that has to do with you missing tackles. Explain to me what that has to do with your teammates missing blocks, not knowing their assignments. What that has to do with your coaches not pushing you guys or holding you guys to a code of winning. Now tell me about that. You see what you heard what I said? Now I didn't say anything wrong. All I said was talk to me about that. Explain that. What does that have to do with that? What does one thing has to do with that? Come on, true talk. That's what I'm talking about. What does that have to do with that? You guys aren't prepared fully. You guys, them offensive linemen don't know their assignments. They're missing blocks. They're getting bullied. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here. Tell me if I'm wrong. These guys aren't prepared to play. They're not. If you get blanked 34-0 or whatever it was in Green Bay on Monday night, what does that got to do with what you're talking about with faith in all this kind of stuff, DeMario? What does that got to do with? If anything, your team is exhibiting lack of faith. So that is actually, come on, explain the football to me, man. What does that got to do with teams, with guys holding people like Ali Udo, who was caught up several times in penalties that hurt the team? What does that got to do with drop balls? What does that got to do with communication issues? What does that got to do? You're not working hard enough in the weight room and studying your stuff hard enough so you can outcompete your competitors, huh? Let's talk brass tacks for a second. These guys have been sitting out here to placate and to soften you up so you can open up your pockets and put more money into their unaccountable accounts. Because they don't believe, a lot of these people talk accountability, but if they did, you would see the result on the football field. You would see it on there. And I don't see no accountability. I see excuse making. I see placating going on. I see BSing going on. And we're not going to be a part of that, man. I don't care what you say. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate you. That's real spill. That's real spill, man. Now, some of these people, bro, they're not ready to hear that. They're not. Whatever them people gonna say, they're just gonna go along with it, man. And that's on them, man. I'm not even talking to people that ain't even using their brain, man. If you are programmed to believe whatever they say, that's on you. That's on you. And sooner or later, that's gonna get you jammed up on a higher level. But when you living in this reality, the reality is a lot of these people would say whatever they have to get you to go along with something that's ultimately not fundamental, is not successful, is not commonsensical. The politicians do it all the time when they sell you on policies that the corporation gave them to sell to you. A lot of that stuff was written by them for the corporations, and they'll sell it to you, and then you'll be like, that sounds like a good ass deal, and then you'll be wondering why your money going down. You see what I'm saying? You can't be a get along guy. You have to be able, a gal, you got to be able to process with critical thinking. Critical thinking will save your life. Trust me, especially nowadays. So if you're not involved with critical analysis, I feel it's about to get, if it ain't already terrible for you, it's about to get real bad for you. I'm just saying, man, you can't be on this world and this planet because there's too many liars, con men, crooks, and charlatans moving about, and grifters moving about on this planet to be a get along person. You will get handled, you will get cheated, you will get your ass kicked in, you'll get a lot of stuff happening to you. So take this from a guy, and I ain't charging you nothing for this. This is free game if you're wise. Use critical analysis in everything you do, including sports. The same thought process you use to go and buy a car, You test drive the car, you look up under the hood, you bring a mechanic with you or take it to a mechanic shop to have them look it over with. That smart process. Or when you go to buy a home, the same process where you don't just go and look outside and say, it looks good to me. What you want for it? Now you're going to go look inside of it. You're going to look around it. You're going to go stare at it. You're going to hire people that go look at the AC. You're going to go look at the roof. You're going to go see if there's any foundation issues. You're going to do some research, find out if it's a flood zone, if the house had people that got shot in it. You're going to do all your research because that's intelligent, right? So why isn't that not the same process you use with everything else? All I'm doing is telling you to use what you usually would use that's logical. And we got a lot of logical people. Stop believing these people out here. I'm telling you to use your mind and use them eyes and listen to what they say. You'll see everything and then some. You'll see the truth. That's game for free. But thanks for the family members that super chat. And Molly Mall says, Q, is it really a rebuild if Gail keeps Loomis? It depends, bro, in what capacity. A lot of people say she's not going to move him around and all this kind of old stuff. It's a mixed bag because if you can keep Mickey Loomis, that's the whole point. You don't have to put Loomis in the street. You can keep Loomis just as a VP. We're just saying take him off the general manager position. He has 2 jobs. He don't need 2 jobs, fam. Let him keep his VP position is what I proposed. Keep the VP job, give the GM job to somebody else. Kai Hartley's been there for years. Let Kai run the general manager job. Mickey does the VP. That would be good. I would even like a change of the president at a time. We could slide Dennis Lauscher to top because Gail is the chief. She's the CEO or the chief. I think there's another chief financial officer. He's supposed to really be the chief financial officer. That's the correct term. But I think she has that term. But he needs to have that. If she has she's the chief executive officer or whatever the case may be, because they call her the owner, she's the chief executive officer. He would be more of like a chief financial officer. He would be the CFO. He can keep that title, whatever a derivative of that. But in terms of president of football operations, need to be a football-minded person, preferably a person with a highly successful football career, that went through the NFL executive program that can step into that role. So, there are different guys that can do that job that are really smart like that about the business world. There are quite a few. We can find our own John Lynch. That's what I'm basically sourcing. Like, if you like, what would that representative look like? That would be John Lynch. Hell, I even go for Louis Riddick. I actually think Louis Riddick is a smart brother. He's been up in the upper echelons of it. He knows football. You can listen to him talk about football. Louis Riddick knows football. I wouldn't be mad at Louis Riddick, to be honest with you. Just somebody that's been experienced on that level that's similar to like a John Lynch type, a guy. He was a really good football player. He went through the exec program, became on that level. They hired him and he's had success because he knows football on the field. He got the exec training. Let's put him in there. You can still keep Dennis Lauscher, but he'll be then put in his proper place, which is to be the CFO, which means he controls or he deals with the business aspect, monetarily speaking. And you got another entity that's dealing with the football on the field. Now, that's not out of a realm of possibility. That is not even a difficult thing for the Saints to do. And that is commonsensical. We want solutions, right? That is the solution. That is what we do. Now, you don't have to fire any of these men. You just slide their positions, do what I just said. So if we can do that, that would be good. We don't even have to fire. I ain't saying fire him. Just take the general manager job and give it to somebody else, a younger person with vision. And that guy's there. Kai is there. He's familiar. They always big on this thing about being familiar with whoever. Kai is there. Let him fix the mess that Loomis did. Let him fix it. So that's my thought process on that, bro. Thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, thank you, Wayne. Appreciate you, Wayne Brownlow, man, for that super chat, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Very much.
As y'all can hear, I had to change. I changed my thank you music. Y'all know why, don't you? Just in case. Okay, I'm not saying anything like something happened. I'm just saying, just in case, because we don't have to worry about. I hope we ain't got nothing to worry about there. I think we good right there. He just won't play his flute and shit, but I think we good on that. We'll see after everything done cleared away. Oh my goodness, it's crazy out here in this world. All right, so anyway, let's listen to Coach Rizzi, man. Let's see what he had to say about today. I ain't gonna listen to all of it, just a little bit of it, fam, and hear what he was saying, because he says he watched the film.
Again, start with a couple of just injury updates from the game. Mentioned Kendre yesterday. Kendre suffered a concussion, so he'll obviously be in the protocol here. So we'll see where he shows up tomorrow. We'll see where he's at with the concussion protocol. You guys saw Scantling went down there at the end of the game, just kind of a re-aggravation of his current injury. Okay. So that he checked out pretty good today. Unfortunately, Jalen Ford suffered a lower leg injury and that's going to require surgery. So he obviously won't play here in the last game. He's going to have surgery here sometime this week. And so those are the guys really from the game. There's a couple other minor things that we'll get updates for today as the day progresses. But that's kind of what. And I know Peyton Turner was out as well. He's also had an ankle deal, so hopefully we'll see how he responds, over the next 48 hours or so. One update with Derek. So last week, at some point during the week, we tried to kind of simulate, what a game would feel like for him with that left hand. Just the grip strength, the functionality, all that kind of stuff, and goes without saying that didn't really go as planned, or else he would have played. So at some point again this week, earlier in the week, we're going to try to maybe see what that looks like again. And if he's able to do that, we'll kind of see where that's at. So, so anyway, that's kind of where we're at with the injuries and take it from there.
Two quick follow-ups. Yeah. Fractured, was it fibula for Ford? Was it a fracture or was it?
Yeah, he actually, I think the initial x-rays was a fracture, and then he had to get some scans today and some MRIs to see if there was any type of ligament situation. So I have not gotten any feedback yet on the exact situation. So his recovery time will be predicated upon what happens with the ligament situation. But there was a fracture there that's got to get repaired.
And then with Derek, he wasn't far enough along last week. Was he not as far along as you expected last week?
No, I mean really. Yeah. Here's the situation with Derek. Derek again, we want to, it's a situation where they can numb the hand and see if his functionality is good. We can protect it and all that stuff. It was a matter of he didn't have enough as much function as we wanted him. He's been improving every day. Naturally, he wanted to play against the Raiders. I think that kind of goes without saying. We talked about that last week, so he was kind of motivated for that one. He's been motivated in his rehab since the day he got injured. And so again, whether we do that tomorrow or Wednesday and see if he has that, better functionality and see if he can cope. So if he can't, we're not going to. Yeah, we try to do simulate game type actions. So anyway,
what kind of function do you need to see in the other, like how can you test function?
Well, it's just more about taking a snap. Yeah, it's a grip on the ball. It's if you got transfers from right to left. Are you able to do all those things? Again, protecting it's really not the issue at this point. It's really comes down, 100% to function.
As the guys we just talked to, you said you're the guy that brings the juice and the spark to the team. Is that just you, or is that something that you actively kind of monitor and try to manufacture, or is it just happen with you being you?
I think it probably falls back to my personality. I try to be. I preach to the guys to be the same guy every day, and come in here with a great approach and a great attitude. I think it's probably in the 32 years I've been coaching, it's probably the thing that my MO, if you will, or, it's my personality as well. Listen, nothing great was ever accomplished without a great attitude and great approach. Right. So, as sometimes things don't go exactly the way you want them, but that doesn't really change how you're going to, be the next day or be in front of the group. And then to me, that's all about leadership. You stand up in front of I have the privilege every day to stand up in front of that group, in front of that team and deliver a message and to lead. And to me, the best leaders that I've ever been around, are positive. No one wants to follow Eeyore around the forest, and so we kind of make a joke around that. I always use that Eeyore analogy. No one wants to see Eeyore walk in the side door every day. That's just, we're not looking for that. And so I kind of always bust guys' chops if I see him be down or whatever. Come on, Eeyore, let's go. It's everybody would rather be and follow Tigger, not Eeyore. So we kind of joke around with that. But all kidding aside,
Hey, Tigger,
positive feedback, positive influence. Listen, I'm very demanding. At the same time, I don't think there's a guy in that locker room that knows that I don't love him, I don't care for him, and I don't want the best for him. And and listen, people follow, positive things, and people follow leadership. And if that's what they're doing, if guys are going to follow and I'm going to lead, then you're certainly going to do that with a great attitude. So I think that's what the guys are talking about. So when I say juice and spark.
How do you show that line between being demanding and showing them love and making sure that they know that the demands aren't coming from, like, how do you navigate those two emotions?
Yeah, listen, I heard a great expression when I was younger as a coach. There's an expression that is, guys really don't care what you know unless they know that you care.
Listen, bro, I understand all that, man. I played, man, and this is the thing too. It's a professional side of it where these are professionals, man, meaning they get paid to play. So, whether you like the guy next to you, it makes it easier to play. That's not disputed. But, at the same time, man, at some point you got to have ability to kick some ass. You know what I mean? And I don't mean to be brash with it, but this is a football team. It's physical, and you can't spare no feelings, man. And having them to like you and all that, a lot of that will happen when you win. Like a lot of the winning and the grind to get through the losses. Because my thing with the Saints, right, going forward is like, the losses, they're mounting because of numerous reasons. But when you're not executing, right, you can miss me with all this other stuff. You're getting paid to play, bro. That's a professional. You're getting paid to play football. You're not doing this for a favor for me. You get what I'm talking about? You're a member of this team. You're getting a salary. You're getting paid to play. So you're supposed to automatically come in with a good idea, with a good mentality, and ready to execute. And your job's serious. You're supposed to be studying extra, working on doing your weights and stuff off time. When you have certain limitations, you have to be on the team and all that. What's stopping these guys from working in the off time on studying that playbook, knowing what they need to be, doing little silent reps. It means something. And you can see the difference when you see players, because Drew Brees did that. Not talking about how great he is, just talking about his work ethic. Just doing the extra stuff to be a winner. This working hard on your own time. And you can see a lot of these guys, they're not doing that, man. It's an obvious difference. So I get what he's coming from about wanting these guys to like you, but man, listen, dude, it's all that like stuff is out the door. Your team set up with 5 wins, bro. I don't care if they like me. If you don't like me, it's because you are a loser, because you picking up on losing principles. Because nothing that we talking about is a lie, or is not in the mindset of winning. And you're gonna have to hurt some feelings. Some of these guys need their feelings hurt if they accepting poor play as something as a normality. We don't want that here. Just saying, man, that's the part of the game. Belichick or any good coach.
I've always tried to use that as my, kind of in the back of my mind. I always hear that quote. These guys out here, they really don't care about my knowledge. They don't know I care about them personally. So I've developed personal relationships with everybody, and I think they all know I'm coming from a good place. So listen, you guys have all seen the videos of me yelling at people, right? But I'm the same guy.
Yelling at one dude.
Fiery son of a gun that's going to be right, in your face when you make a good play. And I think that, it's not always negative. It's you accentuate the positives. We watched the film from the team meeting today, or in the team meeting, we watched a film from the game. And I point out a lot of positives. There was a lot of positives in that game. I know that no one wants to hear that.
No, we don't want to hear it.
I know that's not the narrative right now, because we lost 25-10 to the Las Vegas Raiders. So it's hard to say there's a lot of positives. Yeah, there's a lot of positives. We gave phenomenal effort in that game. I came here this morning early.
We got phenomenal effort. See, this is no, man. We don't want. Yes, they don't want to hear it. See, you spoke. Say, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. You know why? Because they got good sense. They don't want to hear it. He said the same thing in the Packers game, that they gave good effort. What effort you talking about, bro? Define effort. What effort are you talking about in these games where the Saints losing to teams they're supposed to beat? What phenomenal? This guy said phenomenal effort. What phenomenal effort? What are you talking about? It's not you. That doesn't mean anything unless it's just, you know what? Let's just get through it. I'm gonna let him go ahead and prattle on because I'm gonna cut it off in a little bit because this is the part where he's just
Really to watch
the interim coach, man.
all three phases, and I'm looking for guys that aren't giving great effort. I can't find them.
He can't find guys
I
not
think the
giving
goal
good
line
effort.
stand by us is a great example. Demario Davis gives phenomenal.
I'll tell you what you can't find. I'll tell you right where you look at, Rizzi. You look at your goddamn offensive line. You can't find them. I can't find guys that give phenomenal effort. I looked all over the tape. Let me tell you, I try to guide guys. I try to find guys. I looked upside down the tape. I turned it upside down. I looked at it from the sideways. I got a microscope. I looked. I couldn't find the guys. It was phenomenal effort. Man, get out of here, man. That was not phenomenal. You want a place to look at? I'll tell you. You look at your offensive line. Look at Ali Udo. Did he give you phenomenal effort? How about Tali Fuaga? Did he give you phenomenal effort? What about Trevor Penning? Huh? How about those guys? They didn't give you phenomenal effort. Your quarterback running around, he was the lead blocker. They didn't protect him like they were supposed to. They couldn't open up lanes to run. You got guys dropping passes, guys not on the same page. I looked everywhere. And I could not find it. Everywhere. I'm not bullshitting you. I looked everywhere, could not find it. That's all I seen when I looked all around was phenomenal effort. Man, get out of here, dude. Get out of here. That's placating. That's a lie. What are you talking about? Either you don't know how to watch tape or you're lying. That's the bottom line. I looked at the same tape that you looking at. And there was, all I've seen was phenomenal effort. Man, shut up. No, you interim coach, no. There was not phenomenal effort. Your offensive line scored on a trick play. You couldn't manifest. You couldn't get your offense to even get consistent enough to challenge the Raiders. Your defensive line provided zero pressure. All I seen was phenomenal effort. Did you look at the defensive line? They couldn't get to the quarterback. Aiden O'Connell stood up there and threw the ball all the way around on your team. I didn't look here. I didn't see anything. Look, all I know is I found phenomenal effort. But how about your run? How about the defense, your defensive line allowing over 100-something yards again? 188 against Green Bay, and allowing a guy, Amir Abdullah, who's a backup running back, to put over 100 yards on the Saints. Run on them to keep it moving. Did you look there? Did you look there? Come on, man. This foolishness, man. This is what I'm talking about for some of them people out here. And people will listen to this and say, yeah, man, well, he's right. No, he's not right, man. He's not right. Fam, it's time to start calling these people out. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is an outright lie this dude is talking about. He said he looked all over the place and did not see any effort. He says phenomenal effort everywhere. Where was the effort for the offensive line? They could not run the ball. They couldn't even protect Spencer Rattler. He was the top passer as well and runner. He was the top rusher. And he scrambled for his life, man. The first play was a design play. The rest of the plays, the two other scrambles he had, he was running for his life. The defense allowing them to get ran on. They couldn't, even from the word go, they could not get a sack. They didn't get any pressure on Aiden O'Connell. He was able to stand up there with a clean pocket all game long and throw the ball on the Saints. But I couldn't find nothing. I looked at the tape. I turned it upside down and in around. Hell, I just flipped it up. I put it in hue color. And I see phenomenal. Man, no. See, that's the team. You're not going to get better unless you face the facts. That's the bottom line. We can't get better unless we face the facts. The defensive line and offensive line did not play well in this game. They didn't. That's the truth. You guys watched the game. Did you see phenomenal effort? Did you see a whole game where the Saints had full effort the entire game? Did you see that? Then what the hell is this guy talking about? You see, this is the type, and I've been doing this for years. Maybe people just listening to me for the first time, they understand, well, damn, this is kind of something different, because I've been talking like this for years. Because this is what you do when you keep people accountable. You can't allow them to just make up stuff and not challenge them on it. No, this is not true. None of this is true about a phenomenal effort. The line, they can't even protect the man. You couldn't even get a running attack going. We had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we had Jamal Williams, you had other people, and we couldn't even get nothing going. Couldn't get nothing going. But we had phenomenal effort. Man, no.
Phenomenal effort to keep that guy out of the end zone. We talk about defending all 100 yards of the field, really 120 yards, if you will, and sideline to sideline. He keeps that guy out of the end zone, and here Carl, first down, boom, makes a great play. Second down, Cam, boom, great play. Third down, we take away the pass option, we get a sack, force him to a field goal. So that one individual effort play by DeMario was a 4-point play. You know, DeMario again and Ugo make a great stop on third down near our sideline that they challenge the spot. Ends up being 4th and inches. If those guys aren't busting their ass over there, you know, to force that stop, well, then they don't punt. Well, what happens on the punt? We get a 21-yard punt return. We get the ball at the 50-yard line. 3 plays later, we're in the end zone. So all of that, you know, ties together. And so there were a lot of positives. There were a lot of positives on special teams. You know, Rico Payton makes an unbelievable effort play as a gunner. It's going to go under the radar. No one's going to talk about it. Beats a double team, knocks 2 guys on the ground.
I'm not going to talk about it, Coach Rizzi, because it was in a loss, man. They're not going to sit up here and pinpoint and pull out the positive plays and don't mention anything about the negative plays. This is a balance. You got to talk about the positive and the negative. And that's the problem a lot of times, man. To fix stuff, you got to face the negative. The negative ain't always the negative. That's what I was saying yesterday. That's how the Most High tests people. He puts the negative in front of you. You don't run from your problems. You don't run from your issues, your errors, your problems. You face them. That's how you conquer them. That's how we become better people. You don't run from whatever you call it, whether it's the light or the darkness. However it comes, you face it down with courage. That's what you do. You stand strong in the face of adversity. You don't make excuses. You don't make a ton of excuses. Well, I had the sun in my eye. That's why I missed the shot. No, we don't do that. And see, this is CYA, because this is professional leagues. They'll sit up here and cover their asses all day. They'll participate. A lot of this is CYA. This is what this is. CYA. You know, it's CYA time. Cover your ass time. That's what this is. But if you are a person, I'm going to tell you, just like I tell my own children, man. Y'all parents, y'all know, my responsible parents, they know what time this is. The ministers out there, the pastors, they know that it takes something inside of you to stand up when stuff is out there that's scary, that's problematic, or people, whatever the case may be. Standing up to your fears is something that's empowering, because if you don't stand up to them, they'll conquer you. They'll have you running your whole life. You can have a fear as a child. And if you never conquer that fear, you can still have that fear as an adult. You can. They got grown ass people afraid of the boogeyman, and the boogeyman ain't even real, but they scared because this is something that they dealt with as a child. They watch a bunch of horror movies and they can't even sleep in the dark. They can't turn the light off. They got to have a light in there. That's something that followed them since when they was a child, that they watched a bunch of horror movies, and all the movies said the ghosts and goblins and the vampires, they hide out at night. Some people sleep with a night light as an adult. That's something that they never got over it. That's game. That's real. So the idea is, what I'm saying is, as a football team, or whatever you commanding people, or just for your own good, that whatever you are afraid of that's stopping you from being great, or where you need you to get to where you need to be, you need to face it down and take care of it. It's not going to fix itself. You have to take care of it. But if you got to pray and fast and meditate before you do it. You get your armor ready and you go to it. Because there's nothing in that book tell you to run from your problems or hide from darkness or don't keep the dark. No, the Most High uses that as a vestige to test you. And a lot of people sold their souls. And then another thing to be counter of too is the fact that you also remember that everybody that's saying God ain't talking about the God that you talking about. That's another thing too. Did you catch that? I'm just keeping it all the way funky with you. But at the end of the day, accountability is the thing that is going to keep the day clean. That is going to keep us honest. That's going to bring us winning. Because if we don't have any of this, then you get placation. You get this guy sitting up here talking about he didn't see anything on no tape. You can go and watch the all 22 for yourself. And you can see that they had a lot of lack of effort out there. That's why the Saints lost the game. People don't want to hear about all this other stuff unless you go on to ask. See, this is the thing, the games. Don't talk to me about what they did right without telling me about what they did wrong. And he don't do that. He don't go in here and be as descriptive with what they did wrong versus what they did right, because it's a difference because you lost. So you have to been able to show what parts of the game, why you lost, as opposed to what positive stuff you did. Obviously, that wasn't enough, and it doesn't matter because you didn't do nearly enough of it to translate it into a win. So why are you talking about it right here? Tell them that. Well, tell us why you lost. Can you do that? They're not going to do that because this is CYA time. I'm keeping it real, fam. This is real spill, man. I'm telling y'all the God honest truth. I'm telling you the truth. That's what this is. You know it and I know it. You listen to this stuff here. I'm going to play a few more minutes and I'm going to get on up out of here. I'm tired. I don't want much to hear this fool.
Makes a tackle on a 50-something yard punt by Matt Hayball. Those are the plays that we kind of highlighted today. You know, Bank made a great play on a run stop. Offensively, there's some great effort plays on some run plays, backside blocks, things like that. So my point, I know it's a long answer, but my point is we're pointing out all those positive things. So then when we do correct and we do point out some of the negatives and we do have teaching moments, you know, the guys know we're coming from a good place.
Tell us about them.
I just had a question about the practice schedule and the league roles. Like, how limited are you guys with what you can do with what the league allows you to do this time of year?
Yeah, listen, I'm extremely comfortable with the way we're practicing lately. You know, when I took over, it's really a three-part answer, if you will. I mean, the first part is, you know, how we're practicing right now is very, very relative to the rest of the league. You know, I've in my job as an assistant head coach over the years, I've studied all 32 teams across the league on, you know, reps and practice time and, you know, how you worked, you know, your tempo during the practice, breakup, offense, defense, special teams. So I'm very knowledgeable in that area. You know, when I took over, the second part of it is, you know, we were at a place where we had a lot of injuries. I know that's not a big secret, right? Took over at a time where where our roster was kind of beat up. And so we had to keep that in mind. You know, I mentioned that activation thing that we did, we incorporated. We had a ton of soft tissue injuries when I took over. Since I've taken over, we haven't had one soft tissue injury in a practice. We only have one in a game in the last 8 weeks. And that was a problem for us. You know, we had a situation where we had 8 consecutive weeks in a row where we had somebody injured in practice that couldn't play in a game in the beginning of the season. So we were dealing with a lot of stuff, not to mention all the injuries in the games. And so
Second time.
we had to find a very delicate balance on how we're going to be able to get reps, get quality reps, get the speed of practice at the same time, be very conscious about our injuries. And so, you know, that's the second part. And then the third part is the general fans probably don't realize we're a little bit handcuffed by the NFL rules in terms of how many times you can have padded practices. So
it's the same
you're only
for
allowed
everybody,
to have,
bro.
a lot of people won't know, you're only allowed to have 14 padded practices for the entire NFL season. That was with the new CBA. You can only have 3 of those practices in the last 6 weeks of the season. You can never have 2 in 1 week in a lot of the weeks. So you're very, very limited. So
Coach Rizzi, that's the entire NFL has to go through with that, sir. And they're the teams that are actually plus 500. They're dealing with the injuries and the same quotas for practicing, sir. Okay. You mentioned injuries 3 times here, and you talked about the limited the way that you have to practice and all this kind of stuff. It's a league-wide thing, sir. They dealing with the same stuff. So please, based on comparative analysis, how are they able to win and you can't? Let's get back to him, finish up on.
Most people would say, wait a minute, you're only allowed to practice 14 times in pads the entire NFL football season? Yes. The answer is yes. So we get a lot of
That's
that
the
work
entire
in
league.
training camp. A lot of that work, obviously, in the beginning of the season, we used a lot of those padded practices in the beginning of the season. So, once you use one, you have to check it off. So there's a little bit of limitation of what you can do. And then the last thing, obviously, is how many plays you're going to run, things like that. So, we're actually a little bit ahead of the curve in terms of how many plays we run during practice in comparison to the rest of the league. And so
it still translates in losses. So you're running ahead on that, but it's still regardless of you having more a plus there, it's not translating into success. Make it make sense, please.
Like I said, I've done a lot of studies with that, and we had to find that delicate balance between staying healthy, activating our players, getting our work in. And if you look when I took over, listen, we won 3 out of the first 4 games. I don't think our practice.
How have we done lately?
I don't think our practice situation really had anything to do with our performance. And the one game we lost, we were throwing the ball to the end zone on the last.
Your practice performance definitely impacts what you're doing on the field, Coach Rizzi, because your team doesn't look prepared, sir. They didn't look prepared against Green Bay, and they look like shit against the Raiders, sir.
Played to either win or tie it. So, I know it's a long answer again, but we put a lot of thought. We put a lot of time and a lot of effort into exactly how we, do things around here every day. And so
do you
all that kind of ties in, but a lot of it obviously ties into the situation with our injuries.
Everybody got injuries, and look at the bullshit look that he cups his cheeks. I told y'all every time he does this look right here, when he does this look, that's the bullshit. This crap. Because he only does it when there's some bullshit spewing out his mouth. He does this. This thing is like a tall tale sign. There's some garbage about to come out of here. It's just looking at him when he says stuff. I was like, man, that's some BS he just says. Then I've seen some other stuff he said, and every time he says some crap, this is the look that he gives. So at the end of the day, like he mentioned injuries several times in this segment of the interview. All I'm asking is, what are the Saints having that any other team is not having? They got teams that have more injuries than the Saints and still are winning games right now. And I'm not talking about the elite guys. I'm talking about teams that's plus 500 that have more injuries than the Saints. They have to succumb to the same rules that he's talking about in terms of practicing. The same rules that every NFL team has to undergo. The same practice rules is no different. Teams hurt more than the Saints. But yet at the end of the day, some kind of way they are able to have success where the Saints fail. But notice here, he's using injuries several times. This is CYA. They're not supposed to say anything because the league has injuries. We played the Raiders. The Raiders had 17 injured players. 17 injured players. Their best players, some of their best players like Max Crosby and others were hurt. But still go in there and kick the Saints in their ass 25-10. And this guy is standing up here talking about injury, something that everybody go through. See, all I'm asking for the family members to do is to hold these guys to a higher standard than what they're being held to currently. To not allow them to make it anymore. Just think about this. The last 4 years of football has been a failure. They've been selling you hopium. Mickey Loomer's been talking at you crazy. The team has been underperforming. You've been embarrassed I don't know how many times. I remember there was a time a couple years ago that I was rocking with the Saints, and I bet my dog Lowe, who's an Atlanta guy, and I said, listen, whoever wins, you're gonna put this this shirt. And literally the Saints went out there. That was the game where Derek Carr stared down the safety, picked him off, and took the ball back, and Derek Carr congratulated the safety during the middle of the game after it happens on the pick six. I never heard anything about that, by the way, but that game right there, how shitty they perform, I had to put on that Atlanta Falcons shirt. You had to do a podcast in it. That's me, Mr. Black and Gold. Had to put a Falcon shirt on because I stepped up for the Saints and tried to do something for the Saints. Never no more. I'm talking 100% fact. All I'm asking you guys, I know some people that I'm talking to, not the regulars, but there's people that might be hearing me for the first time, say, listen, this is my message. My message is we've given them a 4-year lean. We gave them a 4-year break. We've been trusting in these people for 4 years, and all you got is terrible play. You got disrespected by Mickey Loomis telling you, "Oh, you're not qualified," and refusing to fire Dennis Allen, and everybody in the world knew the guy was supposed to be fired. Held on to him for 7 games, and had you had gotten from up under him earlier, you might have saved your season. Just think about what I'm saying here. It's up to you to change all of this. They're not going to do it unless you force them to do it. That's what I'm talking about. How do I force them? How little old me can impact change with the 2, 3, 4, however much the Saints, $4 billion operation the Saints are. Don't undersell yourself. You are powerful and even stronger as a collective. So when you make up your mind and you get with other people that make up their mind, we can change all of this. We got Dennis Allen out of there. Mickey Loomis refused to fire him and was telling Gail Sheedy he didn't want to fire him because it's not his fault, his injuries. And me and you and all of us know that's a lie. But that is what happened. She fired him because she heard the frustration from the family members and the fact that we said we're not spending money with y'all until y'all get this right. But not only did we stop there, we didn't stop right there. We also gave them a list and say, hey, listen, you got to reformat the organization. You got to move Mickey Loomis off the general manager position. You started giving directives for you to gain support. So you don't just get Dennis Allen and then go back to supporting them. No, you got them. She listening. Keep doing everything else. Force the change. It's up to you. It's not up to them. Because they were saying prior to that, and I always say this, because it's a good moment in history where it shows little old me and you as powerful than the VP, general manager of the Saints, that we were able to move that guy. And the report said, man, that was because of the support base. Support base told them people, hey, you're not coming to them games. You take these effing tickets back. We're not coming to them games. We need to see change. And boy, did it shake them loose. And we're not done yet. So all I'm asking for a lot of people to do is use some discipline. Use some discipline. And all you have to do is nothing. You can't get any easier than that. Get a bunch of people, say, man, we're not going down there until we see y'all change this. So you see some administrators at the top of this team move around. We need to see some change, man. We don't want to see Mickey Loomis roll out there talking about he's going to fix the problem when he set the house on fire. We don't need that. So, that's my point on it. And we also don't need placaters. We don't need placaters. We don't need guys with CIA principles covering these guys. These are professionals. Don't get it twisted. These guys ain't playing for us because they're doing us a favor, family. This is a business. These guys are getting paid handsomely to play football for the New Orleans Saints organization. They're professionals. They're supposed to bring a positive, self-starting, impactful mentality every damn day to work, because they should be feeling privileged that they have the opportunity to play a child sport that they love since they were a child, that they can use to take care of their family for generations. That's a privilege to play for the New Orleans Saints, and they get their funding from you and me. So at the onset, at the genesis of the process is you. So I'm telling you, as a support base, to hold your resources. Do not give it to them unless they prove to you that they're about the business of winning, because they have been taking advantage of us for years now. They've been taking advantage, and that is over with. We're not doing that no more. That's a done deal. So if you don't get that, then the hell with you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep it. I'm rough and I'm real. If you don't get that, the hell with you, man. Because if anything else, you helping, you festering, you're enabling it. And I don't have time for the enablers. We got to face the facts. It's time. It's fact facing time, man. That's what we got to do. It's fact facing time. This is not going to get right because of them, because they don't see no issue with it. They're just going to keep saying injuries. This freaking guy said it several times in one clip here. One question about injuries. And you play it some more, he keep talking about injuries. Man, get out of here. You're not going through anything the rest of the NFL teams going through. Some of them going through worse, and still they're plus 500. Going through it right now. Go look it up. Go look it up. Count the injuries on them plus 500 teams. Go count them. You have a depth chart, sir, And as using a depth chart, it is up to you to find the best people that you possibly can find, just in case injuries hit your team. Because this is football. People get hurt, so you can't sit up here and say, "Well, the starters are out." That means that the starters will be being prepared better than the backups, and that you can't do that. Even though I'm gonna say this again. Even though the talent might drop from a starter to a backup, preparation and what they're supposed to do in execution is not supposed to drop. That backup is supposed to know what they're going to do, just like that starter. That starter might be a little bit better than him, but that guy's supposed to still know what he needs to do when he get in his job, because those guys are practicing too. The backup's not sitting up there watching the starters doing practice. They practicing too. I'm just because people be like, man, I'm giving you the game. We can't allow them to use any of these things. He mentioned practice rules. We're not allowed to have certain amount of practices. We got practices, 14 practices. So does the rest of the NFL. This is an NFL thing. It's not just exclusively for you, sir. This is the NFL too. So if you can't do what you need to do within the limit of it, maybe you need to get your ass out of here. How about that? I'm just keeping it real. I don't want nobody with no excuses, man. We done seen 4 years of excuses, fam. When Dennis Allen apologized to the Falcons, I was done. And then he was allowed to keep his job the next year and come back, destroy the team, go on a 7-game losing streak, and have Mickey Loomis to defend him. And then when Gail fires him, Mickey Loomis puts out a statement, Dennis Allen's a great coach. And you expect that asshole to be able to take the team forward and rebuild it, to put that guy, the guy that was defending the guy, the saboteur that was destroying the team, that guy who kept him even after he lost the team to after that Falcons game when Dennis Allen came out there and threw the Saints under the bus, that guy, that same dude, the same dude that stood up there and went on there and berated the players. Because James Hurst said it. James Hurst said it this year. I played on the show. He said he thought when they came back in there, he said they thought Mickey Loomis was going to fire Dennis Allen because he said that he lost the team. We said it then. You know who said it wasn't true? Mickey Loomis and Dennis Allen said that's not true. Yes, that's not a fracture in the team. Nobody lost, just straight up lying. So you don't have a general manager in name who didn't even go and do his job. He didn't talk to the players. He didn't go and do no investigation work. He didn't iron out no wrinkles. All he did was kept his door closed and believed whatever Dennis Allen said and allowed Dennis Allen to destroy the Saints and literally screw up our time for the last 3.5 years. If this not facts, or is it facts? Put 100% in the chat if this facts, because this is what it is. And many people, they're not going to talk like this, man. And they're not going to talk at you like this because this is real spill. This is real spill. The changes need to be met, and keep your money in your pocket, please. Do not support the Saints. Do not support the Pelicans until they show you that they are worth it, that they show you that they're winning. They show you that they're about the business of winning and not playing games. Come on now. Anyway, big ups, fam. Listen, I'm about to cut loose on this one, man. I appreciate y'all. Let me get a few questions from y'all before I get out. You know, I like to rap at y'all before I go. Can you two, you says, have the Pelicans won 6? No, not yet. Pelicans is 5 games. They playing right now. They're up by 10 right now at the 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter. They're winning 59-49 on the Clippers. So they might actually get their 6th win tonight. We'll see, man. But then again, the Pelicans are, they haven't been able to put together full games. You'll see what it looks like when the second half hit. If they can maintain it, usually they fall off the cliff somewhere in the second half of the game where teams will go on a run with them and they can't stop them. So, I mean, they don't play full games just like their football counterpart. The Saints can't put together full games. Pelicans can't put together full games. It's coaching. It's bad preparation and poor coaching. It's just what it is. These guys, it's just what it is. He's also, how long will it take for Gail to even fire the Pelicans coach? It says, what is the only 2 things that the Saints Pelicans have in common? They both got 5 wins. That's the best that I got. All right. M. says between Saints and Pelicans, Gail got a ton of work to do. I don't know if she can handle all of that. She's going to have to. It's either that or get from up under the team. That's the bottom line. I mean, because people aren't going to keep going to watch no game and they losing all these games, man. Come on. That's not how it go. All right, what's up, Muse? Shout out to you, Muse. Appreciate you. Kevin says, Q, well, when you think back, there was a moment in 22 when Breeze retired. We had this conversation. The Saints could have moved up and grabbed Joe Burrow. We said give up 3 first-round picks. We did. They were never going to do that. They were holding on to Drew Brees. They held on to him until his 40s because that's what Mickey Loomis, that was his brainchild. And that made no sense. They held on to the man into his 40s, bro. Man, arm tore up, can't throw the ball. They had all his medicals and still was trying to do it. So I don't know if you just incompetence, bro, of the highest order, not checked. Unchecked incompetence creates what we have here. So at some point, somebody has to stop this. Somebody or somebodies have to stop this unchecked incompetence. Somebody, right? And it's not going to be them. They're going to belly roll this as long as they can. It's up to us to just don't support it. And all they respect is money. So when they see that money dropping, they're going to like, oh, we got to get it straight. This is what happened years ago before the Saints went on the winning that they had with Sean Payton. The family members said, man, we're not supporting you. This was right before Katrina. It was a big thing. They were fighting for contracts. He wanted a brand new stadium. People told him, take that team and shove it. That's what they were telling him. He couldn't get nothing out of the city. Tom Benson was trying to use San Antonio and moving the Saints to the Alamo Dome as a ploy to force the city to get him a brand new stadium that he wanted on the War Lumber site in New Orleans, an open air stadium, funded largely by the state and the city. He wanted them to do that, and the people was like, we're not doing that. We got tore up streets. We got bad school systems. They were like, nah, we ain't going about that. We ain't doing that. And ultimately it worked out because it forced Tom Benson to do something different, where he got through all his people, and he started really going about the business of hiring a respectable coach. He had Sean Payton and Clint Kubiak's father, Gary Kubiak, who Tom wanted Gary Kubiak, but didn't want to meet his monetary demands because he got a contract from the Texans. And the Texans says, hey, man, this is what we're going to pay you. And Kubiak said, can you match? And Tom said, nope. So he went to Houston, and Sean Payton was the other guy, and Sean Payton was the winner. So, same thing. That's this Sean Payton picked the Saints. All that's a bunch of embellishment. And also the Drew Brees thing. I told y'all this all the time. Drew Brees wanted to go to Miami when Nick Saban was the general manager and head coach. It was that 8-8 year when he took over for Miami. And Nick Saban had to make a choice between Dante Culpepper and Drew Brees. He chose Culpepper. Drew Brees says, I guess I'll go to New Orleans, because that's what it was. It was a known fact that whoever Miami didn't pick, the Saints was going to get. So if Drew would have went to Miami, you would end up with Culpepper. That's how it was going. So you wasn't his preferred destination. That was embellishment. They were embellished to try to create some weird narrative that wasn't there. He was trying to go to Miami. And I'm not mad at him because the city was underwater. It would have been a tough rebuild for anybody. But it's not like he didn't get paid. Drew Brees got broke off handsomely as a New Orleans Saints quarterback for years. He made top-notch pay. Drew didn't take a pay cut until his last contract. He got broke off because Drew, it was a known gag that Drew did not. He ain't letting you. He gonna get all of this money, and he surely did. His last contract with the Saints, he gave you a little break, a little discount. Is what I do, man. I know my Saints. Chantel says, Q, don't forget that he was a great coach like Tomlin, Belichick. Remember that? Yeah, the famous Mickey Loomis was sitting up there doing all that talking ratchet. I wonder if he still has that cocky, gum-chewing arrogance that he displayed in that press conference now that Dennis Allen's in the street. I guess he's not Bill Belichick, huh? And don't let him make it. Remember that you were right. And that's the problem with these types. They get these things where they feel like they can't be checked. You see what I'm saying? And nobody really checking them. And he never really in his mind make any mistakes. And that's a problem. You never get him to admit to any mistakes. And this Dennis Allen thing was a total mistake. He'll go to his grave saying Dennis Allen is a great coach. That's how delusional this guy is. So, I mean, it's insane. But this is truth talk, man. Like it or lump it, this is what we need, man. English says, Q, how likely is Loomis to undermine a new GM if he's reassigned? He seems delusional. I think once he's reassigned, one thing about Mickey Loomis, he's not a meddler. He's not going to meddle. So if he's a VP guy and you hire a new general manager, he will not. Mickey Loomis is not going to meddle in that business because he's a good VP. He can do the VP job because that's really what he is. He's colluding the lines, and he made it one thing. He doesn't do any in-season evaluations. He admitted to that himself in interviews. We played it here on the show where he doesn't do in-season evaluations as a general manager, which is a no-no. But Dennis Lauscher didn't say, hold on, what? We're paying you as a general manager. You need to be doing in-season evaluations, because if you evaluating the team as a competent hands-on manager, you're ironing out wrinkles, which means differences and problems between the players and players to help out there. Is there a problem with players and coaches? Like what happened with Jameis Winston and Dennis Allen, like what happened with Marshawn Lattimore and Dennis Allen. He's supposed to aid in that, to iron out the wrinkles, to bring harmony between the players and coaches. Where was he at when that was going on? Where was he at with the Marshawn Lattimore thing going on? Where was he at with the Jameis Winston thing? Where was he? His goddamn door closed. He's not a hand-on general manager. He's a general manager in title only. It's just what it is. I'm asking the questions. Where was he at? Why didn't he step forward and iron that out? He's that man's boss. And you got your quarterback. You got some of your high-priced players. You ain't got just some bottom line roster guy. You have players, high caliber star players, quarterbacks, defensive backs having issues. If there's a beef between the head coach and the player, if I'm the general manager, I'm supposed to be there to iron that out, man. Let me see what I can do here. Let me get y'all together and see if I can iron this out right here. That's what a hands-on guy does. And he does evaluations during the year. That way he knows what his team needs. If they're hurting for defensive linemen, if they need help here, he's making sure he stays on top of the coaching staff, asking questions, figuring out what went wrong, so that, throwing in insight every now and again. Because if you got a successful thing going, you give them a little leeway. But if you see a guy struggling, like you seen Dennis Allen and all these other guys, you're supposed to be like over there saying, hey, man, listen, you tied to me. I don't want the people upset with me. We need to get this together. You see what I'm saying? But that wasn't the energy. The energy was, whatever you do, go ahead and do it. I'll protect you from it. Oh, I'll take it. Yeah, don't worry about it. You're safe. Do what you got to do. That's when they asked Dennis Allen when he was going through all that losing, are you afraid of being fired? He said no quick. Why? Because Mickey Loomis said, hold on, I got your back. You go out there and you tear the team down. I don't worry. I'll make excuses for you. Don't worry about it. And what happened? He got fired. So, like I said, man, it's crazy, man. But I don't think he would meddle with the new general manager. I don't think he's not a meddler. Once he gets reassigned, I think he'll like the VP job. He'll be there and let somebody else handle it. He don't really want to talk to nobody anyway. He says he don't like doing the press conferences. Well, get your ass out of here, because we don't like talking to you anyway. Let's get somebody up there that knows something, that can talk for the team and do the job they're supposed to do, which you're not doing. So that in the end, that's how I feel about it, man. I'm just a little rough on it. Taylor says Peyton has moved on, building another franchise, and the Saints are still living in the past. That's vision, bro. Thank you for that, bro. Appreciate you.
Say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this.
Yeah, it's just what it is, bro. Appreciate you on that there, brother Taylor, man. Thank you, man. Sean said, I know y'all tired of seeing former Saints balling. You right, bro. Yeah, you're right, bro. But you know what? Not really, man. Not really. You know what I'm saying? It's just an indictment, right? Like, we just not it. Things have to change, right? Sean Payton went over that. Sean Payton went there, right? He went to Denver, and Denver hadn't done nothing in a while, right? They hadn't been in the playoffs in a while. He goes there and does something he never did before in all of the 15 odd years that he was with New Orleans. He drafted a quarterback in the first round, started the quarterback, right? And is winning with a rookie quarterback that he drafted in the first round. That's all of the things Sean Payton did as a coach. He never done that before with the Saints. He stared away from that. He kept away from that. And all of the time here, he never drafted a quarterback with the first round pick. Never. But he took Bo Nix and is winning with Bo Nix. And if things line up, Denver might have a postseason run with a rookie quarterback. That is something that to me, that is awesome. But because I love success, so I'm not so much, you know what I mean, Sean? I'm not too much upset, tore up about it. But it's an indictment on how things are being ran in the New Orleans Saints organization. And that is That is the vision, because Dennis Lauscher is allowing Mickey Loomis to do all of this. Gail Benson is an ambassador. Dennis Lauscher is running around doing all this stuff with Oshner. And you know, they're on their board of directors. He's the Pelicans guy and the Saints guy. You don't see him, you know, at all during the season. Asking him about where is he at with the team losing? Where is he at with his thought process in terms of the team as a 5-win team? Where is he at? You see what I'm saying? Where is these guys at? Why are they, what's up? What happened here? You got some explaining to do. You guys, what happened here? But even if you catch Dennis Lauscher and you ask him that, he ain't gonna have a straight answer for you, because he don't know. He gonna say, maybe you should talk. Well, I'm gonna put you in to let you talk to Mickey Loomis. He don't know. He don't know. That's the point why I put that out there. The video, I was like, listen, it's not so much about what he is doing as a business owner. I'm saying that as a boss of Mickey Loomis, he got to at least know a fraction or half of what Mickey Loomis knows to check Mickey Loomis on whether or not he's doing his job. That is the point of that. That's why I brought that up. That's why I was telling people. Now I've seen the snips go around, and I was trying to, people was like getting lost in. I'm like, no, it's all about accountability. That is the term. You got to know something about what, you know, the guy that you hiring doing, so that he don't just do something and you don't know what he doing. You got to know something about that. You can't just give it all to him and say, hey, you got this. And then when stuff start messing up, go talk to him. No, you his boss. Aren't you checking him? No, well, actually, I'm not. I mean, I believe in what he's doing. He didn't say that, but that's how his actions are lining up. Like, no. Everybody has to be under the principles of accountability. Everybody must be accountable. We can't let people make mistakes over and over again and not make them accountable, not chastise them or discipline them for that. You can't go out here and screw up the last 4 years and stand up there like you ain't do nothing wrong. No, you can't. You're not going to get away with that. You're not going to get away with that. We won't let you. We're not going to let you do that. Because, you know, we'll be enabling the bull crap and say, well, they ain't check me. I guess they like it. Man, no, man. We're not going to let you do that, bro. We can't let you do that. We can't let you stand up there and do all this kind of craziness. We just can't do it. So that's what I'm saying about the whole, that's why I'm bringing the Dennis Lauscher thing up, because Dennis Lauscher name ain't never been brought up before. That's me and the Great Saint Think Tank pumping that out there. Say, hey, this guy got a boss. Y'all know that? Oh yeah, well, and it's funny to people because the dude don't even know, he don't know nothing about football. He's just a businessman. I'm like, how is he supposed to keep this dude accountable? How is he supposed to do it? The answer is he can't, and he won't, which is why this guy act like this. That's why, well, I can't do without me. I'm the big badass. I'm Slick Mickey. I'm the man, you know. Hold on now. Yeah, well, I tell you, I do whatever the hell I want here. You know, hold on now. Dennis Allen is a good coach. Bill Belichick, 9-5. Bill Belichick, 79, 78, 70. All championship coach. Oh, I hear it all before. No, I didn't read that. Oh my goodness. Oh man, if it wasn't such a tragedy, man. Oh wow, hold on now. You guys don't know what you're talking about. Hold on. All right. Anyway, listen, man, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all, man. The coaches, we'll see what we got lined up. Young City said, who can we get as a head coach? Q, we'll see. We can start off by talking to Mike Vrabel, Coach Glenn, and Brian Flores. You could talk to Joe Brady. You know, interview all of these guys. I'm pretty sure Cliff Kingsbury is another guy that people are gonna be throwing in the mix when you throw Joe Brady. Now you got to talk about Cliff Kingsbury. Every couple of years, he hits the junket for potential head coaches. He was a coach before with the Cardinals. You got Cliff Kingsbury, throw him in the mix. You know, you're going to have a couple of guys. You're going to circulate at least a good 10 to 12 people that you're going to circulate in there. The coach from the offensive coordinator from the Detroit Lions, his name is going to be in the mix. Both coordinators, Coach Glenn, Coach Johnson. You know, you got to throw those guys in the mix. So the Saints got to at least interview at least 10 coaches, 10 to 12 coaching candidates, if not a little bit more than that, because you got to get your full slate of guys to be able to interview. So I'm not above that. I prefer an offensive minded coach, but also I wouldn't be so, mad if we got a coach, a respectable coach with a lengthy resume as a player who made a good transition over to be a head coach, because that's another level. He understand what it takes to build a winning culture. You know what I'm saying? That kind of guy. And not so much tying him in to, because he was here before and he was a former player or whatever, or coach here, that we want him to come here, such and such. That's how this guy think, because he don't want to do no research. He don't want to do what it needs to be taken. This is the same guy sit there and talk to Eric Bieniemy for 8 hours eating etouffee, and then promise the man the job as offensive coordinator and turn around and hire Dennis Allen. You don't talk about a kick in the face. You believe this guy? He sat there and talked to Eric Bieniemy for 8 hours. That's a fact. And then hire Dennis Allen. You mean to tell me Eric Bieniemy is not as resumed as Dennis Allen? I mean, my goodness, if we just talking them two, right? But like I said, man, at the end of the day, there are a couple of guys. It's, it depends on if any of them find the position attractive, because that's also an issue you got to look at as well. Do they see the Saints' destination as attractive? You got a hammed up salary cap situation. You're $60 million in the red, depending on where the cap is set. If they knock off 15 to 20 million, still 40 plus in the red. You got to restructure contracts. You'll have a quarterback here that the next coach might not want. He wants his own coach. His own quarterback. So it's a lot of stuff. You got a lot of expiring older veteran players here, that's not being as productive as we would want them to be. It's a lot of issues offensive line wise. Like, I think both defensive lines and offensive lines need to be retooled. I'm talking about internally. The guard positions, we need to really look at Eric McCoy. He keeps getting these injuries. That's a big red flag for Eric McCoy. He never was really that banged up until recent. And when you start seeing players get older and they keep getting hurt, you might want to start investing in a potential replacement for Eric McCoy. Maybe in the terms of a draft pick, a high draft pick might not be a first rounder, but at least 1, 2, 3 in a first, second, third round. You got to look at everything. If somebody falls to you, a top tackle falls to you in the first round, do you do that? Because listen, wherever we go, we can't have this type of stuff. Our offensive line is bad. Our defensive line needs to be retooled. I like Bink Saunders, but him and Nate Shepard haven't been exactly what we wanted. Could anybody say that those guys have been better than the two guys that left? If you look at David Onyemata and Big Shy Tuttle, Big King Tut there, could you say those guys were better than those guys? Did we upgrade there? So, I like Brian Bursey. Brian Bursey is a pass rush guy. We can probably use it in different ways. A lot of family members say, Q, the guy might be able to move him around on that line. Could we possibly see him putting him on the end? The guy, I don't know about him playing in, but the guy is a big physical guy that moves. He really needs to work on his run stuff and ability, no matter where you put him at. But at the end of the day, the Saints really need to invest interiorly on that defensive line. I'm talking space eaters interiorly to stop the run, right? And the same thing with the offensive line. Both lines, offense and defense, need to be looked at seriously. Cesar Ruiz, I'm very disappointed in Cesar Ruiz. Maybe we can look at him as a center, because Cesar Ruiz is had one good year and he gets beat all the time. He gets pushed. He doesn't look strong. Sometimes his footwork looks bad. He's slow to react to what's going on out there. And Cesar Ruiz has not, come on, fam. Cesar Ruiz has not looked good this year, to be honest with you. And he's supposed to be a veteran in there knowing what he's supposed to do. And he just doesn't look good. He looks weak at times. No disrespect, man. I'm just saying your game, bro. Your game is junk, man. I'm just being honest, man. Go look at the tape. You only look at the tape and say, damn, man, I look bad up there. It's just keep it all the way funky. You don't look that good. You really don't. But we need to look at all that. We need a left guard, because Lucas Patrick is a backup and he should be a rotational guy, not a starter. So interiorly speaking, we really need to look at that, fixing that, and definitely on defenses. If we look at that, then wherever else you want to go, we can go. Because it depends on where these quarterbacks fall. I know Cam Ward is high. They're now trying to put Cam Ward over Shador, and they're doing that because Shador Sanders, Deion came out and says that there's certain places that he's not going to go, so he might fall. The Giants could be a potential place for him. Big market teams is who Deion aiming them at. I think the Raiders and the Giants could be places where he ends up, because I knew he was going to get involved. He leaked that weeks ago, that he was going to have a say on where his children go, where his sons go. He would orchestrate that. But Cam Ward's another guy there. The kid from Texas, depending on how he plays in the playoffs, could elevate Cam Paul, shoot him up in the rankings, depending on how he looks in the college playoffs for Texas. Ewers. And then there are other quarterbacks too. We know Carson Beck got the injury, so we'll see what he looks like. But he's a decent option. But I don't know if these are first round guys. It all depends. Like with some of these guys, they consider them like second round grades and all this kind of stuff. If the kid from Oregon comes out, he's a phenomenal quarterback, but he's a small quarterback. So a lot of people look at him as, he's talented, but he's like 5'11", I want to say 5'11" or something like that. Talented little dude, but they have the Kyler Murrays, but how do they see him, this year? All that has to play a part. But like I said, it depends on where these guys want to go. Are we attractive enough for them? Because we got a lot of stuff that we have. We don't exactly have a clean slate here. We got a lot of stuff going on. Whoever accepts the job is going to have to work through all the funk and filth to get the team to win. So that's where we are in a nutshell, right? Which is not a bad thing. It's fine. Which is fine. We can get it right. We didn't get the Dennis Allen thing right. We can get a lot of stuff done right this off season. And that's the thing that's going to be way better than the fam. Listen, the Saints, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to go. The Saints off season, the 2024-25 off season, I'm just saying off season, is going to be way more spicy and lit than what we seeing during the regular season. It is. It's so much that's going to go on in this off season. It's going to shake your mind up some. So I welcome this, man. So we've been looking at this. We need to get this done, and we're finally here. Anyway, so with that being said, man, listen, I'm gonna cut out on that. Yeah, Dylan. Yeah, Derek. That's why I said Dylan. Gabriel from that's the thing. I seen him play. The guy could play, man. He's just a small quarterback. How do they feel about that? And I know they got Kyler Murray, but I ain't gonna say that dude is a Kyler Murray. He can ball, but I ain't gonna say he know Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray came out, was phenomenal, and like I said, Gabriel's good. I just don't know where they're gonna grade him at. Like he's 5'11" or something. He's a short quarterback. A lot of these other guys are 6'2", 6'3" guys. That kind of thing. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Hemisphere says, Q, haven't heard from Mickey ever since the week after Miss B fired DA. I wonder why. Now, he been having these little interviews. I did something 2 weeks ago where he doing taped radio interviews with Mike Hoss on WW Radio. It used to be Bobby Hebert. Used to do it live with Bobby Hebert would ask some questions, and Bobby Hebert was asking them questions from the support base, and Mickey Loomis must have got upset about it and didn't want it to. He ever since he asked them tough questions, wasn't really even tough questions. Since he asked them the questions, he hadn't gone back over there. He just likes Mike Hoss because Mike Hoss makes excuses. Mike Hoss asks softball questions, and he don't really ask a lot of questions. He just say a bunch of bullshit, and Mickey Loomis jumps on the back of it. He even tells them, "Hey, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to." What? What kind of question is it? But that's what happened when you got your own paid reporter. You can brown nose for him. He can give you softball stuff that won't challenge. But that's where he's been doing. But he hadn't done an interview since the week before last. But and I gotta give a credit to, I forgot the reporter name. They basically called him out, called him a coward from Channel 26. I forgot the brother name. I think I gave him a shout out when he did that. But he put him on Front Street. And it's good to see our reporters, man, doing this, man. This is they're literally mimicking the vibe and the energy of the support base. We got pleasantitudes and all this pleasantries and all this kind of stuff. But when you get to this gum smacking and sitting up here like better, and we know that the dude was trash, and you sitting up here comparing them to to Bill Belichick and all these other guys, and not a guy fired because of a 7-game losing streak, what you got to say for that? But he's not going to say anything truthful. He's just going to continue to carry on a narrative like he can't make any mistakes. You can say, well, listen, I made a mistake. Now, listen, I'm going to say it for him because you'll never hear this, and then I'm going to get the hell on about it here. I'm going to say this is what he should say. Now, hold on. Let me say it, Q. Hold on. New Orleans Saints supporters. I know you get pissy when I call you fans. So hold on. I'm not going to call you. I just feel, and I'm sorry. I apologize for hiring Dennis Allen. I just felt, he was a good guy. I thought he was a great coach. And I apologize. Hold on now. I apologize for hiring Dennis Allen. Okay? I'm sorry. You'll never hear that from this guy right here. You'll never hear. I apologize. It was a bad hire. I was under a little pressure. My blood pressure was high. I just ate a bad batch of clam chowder. I drank some bad orange juice. The guy said it was gourmet orange juice. Turns out it was Minute Maid. Hold on now. I apologize. I wasn't in my right mind, and I was fooled. You'll never hear that. Won't ever hear that. Matter of fact, you won't even get an apology. You won't get any of that. Despite the fact that this was obviously bad and it wasted a lot of time off of players like DeMario and Cam and all these other guys that they were here for, completely wasted away the time frame. But you don't deserve no, I'm sorry. You won't get any of that. You won't get any of that. I promise you that. So that's the best you got, what I just did. So you can clip that, whatever. You won't ever get that again. You won't get that from these guys. Won't get it. They'll just move on like, well, it's all, I can tell you what he's going to do. He's going to come out because they ain't playing no chess, man. These people playing Yahtzee. They ain't playing no chess. They ain't playing nothing complicated. Yeah, they playing Pokemon cards. They ain't playing no chess. I can tell you what they're going to do. They're going to come out and try to spill in on injuries. This Rizzi said it several times in the press conference. You're going to hear the players allude to it. They're going to spin it on injuries like they do it every year. Well, if our team wasn't injured, we would have won the playoffs. We would have gotten there. They do it every year. It's injuries every damn year for the New Orleans Saints why they can't get anything done. It's every year. That's that. They're not playing chess. That's they card. You can't allow them to play it anymore. Every team in the NFL deals with injuries. Every team in the NFL has to go by the same practice rules. Every team in the NFL has to maneuver around injuries every year. It doesn't change. If you have coaches that need full staffs or healthy players to win, then you got the wrong staff. Let me say that again. Let me say this again. If you have a coaching staff that can only win with its starters, then you got the wrong coaching staff. Did you get that? Did you catch that? If you have a coaching staff that can only win when you have all of their starters, you have the wrong coaching staff because you're not going to have all of your starters. You're not going to have it. You start week 1, by week 18, things are going to look radically different. So I don't want no coaches who can't coach unless they have all of their starters healthy. Did we get that? That's facts. That is 100% facts. That's that. I can't get no truer than that. And I'm gonna leave y'all on that. Listen, I appreciate all y'all for being in paper airplanes. I'm gonna leave y'all on that, man. I appreciate y'all for letting me talk to y'all today, man. It's an honor and a privilege to represent the Who Dat Nation, the great Saint think tank. I salute you guys. I thank you guys for the support, my Patreon champions, my YouTube membership family. Much love to you guys. Please do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on social media feed. Also, give a shout out to our platform sponsors, Mint Mobile, Teach Henley, Bet Online. Check out their links in the description section below. Merch as well is available, links and ways to support the platform to keep the empowering message of the Who Dat faithful, the diehards, the direct, real, down, smart, intelligent supporters of the Saints organization and the Pelicans organization, man. We represent all of New Orleans, man, the right way. We're not going for the okie doke. We want to win, and you will win the correct way. We're not tolerating any more losing, and it just is what it is. This is a new era of time. Get with it. That's for the Saints. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get out on that, man. I'm going to be back on Patreon. We're going to do film study tomorrow, family, on our Patreon. We'll cover all the latest stuff, news and notes and items of the black and gold. And that being said, I'm going to get out on that. Much love, peace, and who that to you.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, fucking like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this, and I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, Bet Online provides you with all the action, the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, and college basketball, NHL to UFC and MMA. Head to Bet Online today to get in on all the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet Online, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, The Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and who that too.